Hey everybody, welcome to It's Real with Jordan and Demi. In Los Angeles, it's Jordan Edwards. In New York, we got Demi Ramos. What's up, Demi? And today our guest is KO. What's going on?
Hi.
KO, you just released a new single, Hit and Run.
Yeah.
It's really cool sounding song. And the first thing that struck me is that it sounds a little bit more radio friendly, a little more polished than your previous singles. Mm-hmm. It sounds a little more expensive, for lack of a better term. So tell me about the making of this track and how you wanted it to sound.
I didn't know that it sounded that way because I was like, this song is a little more complicated. I would say like the structure is a little more complicated than my other songs.
Yeah, how close is this song to the demo?
Very different. Just because it went through so many different cycles of things, but then eventually I settled on I wanted it to like build up into more of like a, it starts very simple and then it gets bigger.
When you're like making songs, I know a lot of artists, they either are, it's very black and white. They like instantly, they're like, I have demoitis. I love this track. It's going up next week. Or there's the artists that kind of have like 200 mixes to a track. And then it barely sounds like, the first original draft. What kind of artist are you?
It depends on the song. I'm both, but it just depends on how I feel about it.
I know that you started out, you were more of a DJ than like a singer-songwriter. Mm-hmm. How do you think does that help you or hurt you in the production process? Because on one hand, about beats, how to construct a song, but on the other hand, maybe it makes you overthink the production process a little bit.
I think it definitely helps because DJing definitely helped me like learn about song structures and open me up to like so many different genres of music that I love, which otherwise I wouldn't know about.
Also, going back to this song, I don't know if you heard it when you came on to, when you first came onto the StreamYard, that was on replay for like an hour. Not because like I needed to hear it to like know what was up. Yeah. I love that song. Like, is that a real story? Is that a true story?
Yeah.
Are you like nervous to put that out? I feel like, but like that's a theme right there,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like a toxic. It's a song about like a toxic relationship, but I think,
Everybody writes songs about toxic relationships. Why is no one in love? Is no one having a good time these days?
Yeah,
everyone's so bitter and angry about relationships now.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe does love even exist?
I don't know. Ask Demi.
Why he said ask Demi? Why'd you put me on the spot? Ask Demi.
I don't know. So let's talk about your transition from DJing into more of a pop singer-songwriter. Now, I know that you did this kind of during the early days of quarantine, during like the really bad days of the pandemic. Was this a matter of you just kind of being bored at home and being restless, or what motivated you to move in this direction?
Well, I was already working on music prior to the pandemic, and I had so many songs already done. And then my manager at the time was like, it's the pandemic, you shouldn't release anything. So I still had nothing released, but I just really wanted to put things out, It was a very like unknown time, but I just wanted to do it anyway.
It's definitely pretty scary. I mean, we had an artist 2 Feet on the show that literally like put out in his entire, I think it was not his sophomore album. I think it was his sophomore album, Jordan.
It was actually technically his debut album, but
and had a whole billboard in Times Square, like during the pandemic. And there was a picture of it with just like an empty Times Square. So yeah, maybe you made the right move on that one, but
yeah.
You're based in LA, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is the place for you to be as opposed to New York?
I actually lived in New York for a little bit, and I think so. Yeah, I definitely work with more people in LA, like music wise. But I have recorded in New York and Atlanta too. But I like LA.
That's true. In the song you talk about LA too, the new song. Do you is that stigma correct? Like in your lifestyle, like it's just like people talking in LA. Are you like involved in some sort of drama that like can relate to?
I'm not really like involved in drama. I kind of keep to myself, but you know, people do like. I like to
So
watch.
you're more, even though you come from the DJ world and you're releasing these songs, do you consider yourself more of an introvert, or are you more comfortable just like chilling at home?
Definitely.
So like, what's this thing about something about scientists?
Oh,
Your parents are scientists.
yeah.
We gotta talk about this because you got scientists making, pop star. What's going on with it?
Well, it's weird because I actually like didn't listen. Like my family doesn't really listen to music, so like everything
At all, any kind of music, not just
not,
pop music, just
That's
any kind of music.
wild. So this is more rebellion. You're like, you know what? We're gonna go with this one.
Yeah. So everything that I like love, like I had to discover on my own because I feel like most people are like, oh, my mom likes this, you know, and they kind of like discover their music taste through that.
Yeah.
What did you listen to growing up that like steered you in that direction?
I listen to a lot of pop. I love like Britney Spears, Beyonce, you know, divas.
Yeah. And your style, I feel like your style kind of has a little Gwen Stefani aspect to it.
Yeah. And I also like, I had like a kind of like a emo phase too.
Doesn't everybody? Doesn't everybody have
Love
an
it,
emo phase?
Like emo voice, is that your thing?
I used to go to Warped Tour and get the real tight T-shirts with like the band name on the front. You know, I feel that.
Are you into emo boys though? For real?
Yeah, I guess so.
I like to put them like for real.
For real. I think it depends on personality.
Oh, so because Demi, it's basically a sliding scale of how many tattoos you have.
And are there face tattoos? Like, is it like, like how, far are we gonna go with this? You know?
Here's a question, Ko. Is a face tattoo a turn off or a turn on?
I guess on.
That's my girl. Little peep. But no, speaking of, go back to your parents, like what do they think about this music? Like, what are they thinking? They're scientists and Aishto's music.
They don't care. They're just like whatever at this point. They're like,
as long as you're not like homeless or something, I guess. Yeah.
They're like, don't tell us about it.
So don't tell us. Don't ask, don't tell. So do they care that much about you becoming an academically minded person because they're serious intellectuals? Do they care about you in terms of your education?
Yeah,
and stuff?
they do. They're like, maybe do you want to like go to school or whatever?
Maybe do you want to go to school or like whatever? Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
You're one of those artists that like really dive into your visuals, which is so cool. And it's like, I think probably from coming from an environment where you were maybe suppressed, like to explore yourself. So you went through this exploration phase and you really like made what's inside, like your vision come to life, and you paired it with your music. And that's so cool. And tell me about like your visuals.
Well, it's funny because growing up, like I wasn't allowed to like do any of that stuff. Like I wasn't allowed to wear makeup and stuff. I wasn't allowed to paint my nails. So of course I'm like, I love that stuff now.
Really? Not even paint your nails?
Do you think you love it more now because you weren't able to do it when you were 12?
Yes. For sure. So like I'm like super involved. I create most of my visuals that you see, like most of my single art and stuff. I create myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why I think I think she's kind of got a bad reputation, but I think of Grimes when I look at your whole
That's
thing,
true.
not because of like Grimes is a whole other thing. I don't want to go into that, but I mean just the idea of like, because she also is a visual artist, and
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the idea behind her music is as much about the way the sounds mixed together, and like the soundscape aspect of the music is important to you.
Yeah.
Is that kind of true?
Yeah, definitely. But you know, I kind of create my visuals after the music, so it just like kind of depends. But for this single art, I actually made like this baseball bat. I don't know if you saw the cover.
Yeah, I saw the cover. So we'll put the cover up so people can see it. It's got like barbed wire. It's kind of looks like a, you know, like a zombie weapon or something off of Stranger Things or something.
Yeah, actually, do you want to see it? It's really cool.
Yeah, let's see the bat.
Yes, let's go.
We'll fast forward through this part.
Yeah.
Awesome. So sick.
I like had this make it, and then I added the spikes later. But yeah, I tried to wrap the barbed wire around myself, but it was dangerous.
Yeah. So how did you get it put together?
Well, I just like got this baseball bat and then ordered barbed wire, and I had like you know those like gloves that you're not supposed to cut, like that are like, I don't know, they're like cut resistant gloves. I was wearing those, trying to wrap the barbed wire around, and then it was just dangerous. So then I was like, let me get a professional to do this.
That's what's so cool about modern day artists and musicians, is that the especially when you're independent, it's very DIY. The DIY kind of like memo is pretty much like allowing artists to create their own visuals and really put together what is inside them and piece it together all into one thing, you know. And sometimes that's even cooler than having like, you know, a bunch of people tell you what your cover should be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it really, you get to get all of you into the project.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That's what's cool about being an independent artist, for sure.
I knew you have a manager, you have a publicist, but and you enjoy being independent. Are you one of those people who envision yourself being independent long term, even if, you know, Hit and Run all of a sudden hits the algorithms right and you've got 10 million streams and people start knocking your door? What are you going to do?
I don't know. I think it would just depend on the situation and the deal.
Yeah. And Demi can relate to that. Demi is also releases music and has had that kind of back. And Demi, I'm speaking for you, but Demi, you can kind of talk about that whole, you know, back and forth between wanting the access that a label gives you, but also wanting to retain the independence.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with like a friend yesterday at dinner. It was like, you know, he made this incredible album. He had a deal with Sony, and it goes like this: like his contract was up. He had this incredible album. They wanted to release that album, but it was like, and he was like, yes, this is how much it's going to cost. I need to do all these things. I need a bigger budget. And then it's like, okay, cool. They write up the contract and they want not just that album, even though the term was done. They want the next 3 albums. So in exchange for, you know, that marketing and that promotion and the, you know, all the perks of having that deal, it was like they own the next 4 albums, which is like what, 5 to 10 years of their career. It's crazy. It's definitely, but hey, it's the name of the game. It's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this time was like made for an artist like UKO because you are not concerned about like getting a mansion and getting a Maserati and stuff. You just want to make like dope looking stuff and dope sounding stuff.
Maybe she is.
Yeah. How do
Are you?
Because I don't feel like, you know, if you were like concerned about those things, I feel like that you would, I don't know, that would be more in your imagery and stuff. You'd be like renting, you know, because around LA, you could like rent a Maybach for like $200 a day, shoot a music video, and be like, look at me rolling, you know. So that's not your style at the moment.
What is
So-
your goal with the project? I mean, like, where do you see it in 5 years?
I just hope, well, I guess I see it kind of just the same, but just elevated, to keep growing and explore different sides of myself, because I feel like each song is so different.
So you're like a fully immersive artist. You control both the visuals, the audio, and of course the live shows. Now that's one thing. Have you done many live shows as KO, the pop artist, as opposed to DJing?
I haven't done too many. My first one was on New Year's.
Okay. Oh wow. So what do you got? Do you got anything coming up the rest of the summer in terms of shows or appearances or anything?
Not right now, but hopefully soon.
I like the tease. I like the tease. Yeah. What have you been listening to recently, like in your personal life, just for fun? And when you listen to music, does that affect the music you make or the headspace that you stay in?
It definitely does. I find a lot of inspiration from listening to music, but I kind of listen to music like a DJ, which means like I just listen to new music or like discover new, even if it's not new, it's still new to me, like all the time. And I just like constantly like cycle through to try to find something that I like. And then I'll like add it to a playlist for my friends, but then I never go back to it, but they'll listen to it.
Are you like a playlist type of person? Because I know some artists are like really super about their playlists. Like, no, like I have these playlists. Like this is the one for Greece. This is the one when I'm gonna smoke. Like, are you that kind of like artist that has playlists that
Not
we can find?
really, but I feel like I should, because I make that like I don't re-listen to my playlist because I'm trying to find new stuff. But yeah.
It's still show you where Demi's at in her life. The two examples she gave is the playlist for Greece and the playlist for smoking. Like
that's where I am mentally.
Yeah. Let's talk, Kayla. Let's talk about your amazing style. First of all, this fit you got on with the Guns N' Roses hat, and the tie and the shirt. Where do your clothes come from? Do you physically go to stores? Do you have a stylist who picks stuff out for you? Do you shop online? Where do these looks come from?
I thrift a lot. I don't have a stylist, so I just style myself, but it's fun. I like doing it. So yeah, I don't really shop too much actually, but
when you do shop, where are you going though? Like, what's this?
Well, in LA, I like going to Squaresville for like thrifting, and then there's like 2nd Street on Melrose, and yeah.
Oh, so you got to go to the West Side for like the good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, East Side too. Squaresville's in like Los Feliz.
Okay. We're getting like really nitty gritty LA neighborhood stuff right now. Yeah. Like I know this place in Rancho Cucamonga that I go to. Yeah. So what, in terms of music, I know that I mentioned that Hit and Run sounds a little more polished, a little more radio friendly.
Exactly. What's coming next?
What have you got going on right now? What's the follow-up to Hit and Run going to be like? Because I feel like this is kind of like, I feel like it's a cliche to say new era, but I feel like this is kind of like a step in a bigger direction for you. This track is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna drop an EP next. So that's exciting. The EP is definitely more pop, I think.
Yeah.
Pop as in, like, what kind of pop are we talking right now? Like Lady Gaga, are we talking crack pop? You know? Talking Grimes pop.
One thing I did like about Hit and Run is like, and Demi's a guitar player. We love guitar music, and you've got some like killer guitar on this song.
Yeah.
Like, did you like, do you have a friend who played on this track? Like, who did shout out the guitar on this track?
Actually, Justin, who was the guitarist in The Used and Seosin, which are like some of my favorite bands.
Wow.
When I was little. So it was
That
like,
does sound like a Seosin guitar. Like, talk about Warped Tour memories.
I've never
yeah,
been to
wow.
Warped Tour.
Yeah,
So.
that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine yourself like live? Like, what do you imagine yourself in the future? You know, like say next tour or whatever.
Well,
Like, what do you imagine for
for
yourself in a
live
live show?
performances, I have dancers and stuff and like a whole show kind of. So I do a lot of dance things. I do a lot of dance training and
when you were a kid, did you like watch dancing? Like I knew friends, and maybe I participated in it myself just a little bit. Like you'd watch choreography on TV and try to emulate it, or see something on YouTube and try to emulate it. Did you do that when you were a kid? You still do that?
Yeah.
In terms of choreography, who are your and music videos? Who are your inspirations? I mean, there's obvious ones like Britney, Janet Jackson. You know.
Yeah, I just watched the Janet Jackson like documentary.
Oh yeah, the Lifetime one. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
There's like a 7-part Lifetime. I think it's Lifetime or some cable station did a 7-part Janet Jackson documentary. But yeah, they do go into the choreography. Like dead ass, like sorry to tangent, but like the Rhythm Nation choreography was like revolutionary. Like the moves that those, because you can see those moves replicated in sync videos and Christina Aguilera videos or whatever for the next 10, 12 years.
Yeah. So, when I was watching that part, I was like doing it around my room.
Yeah. Well, I just doing the Rhythm Nation, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing was just like nuts, because before that, if you watch choreography and music videos before that, it was almost kind of goofy and kind of loose and more like rounded movements. And this was very rigid and stuff. Do you like that kind of like more robotic looking kind of movement?
I like all of it, because I think it really depends on the song and how it's like hitting for this song. Because even now I've always like hated like contemporary, and I'm even like pushing myself to, you know, try to learn it and get better at it.
Do you miss, or maybe you still do this, do you still do DJ gigs, just like, you know, setting up at a club and playing for 3 or 4 hours?
No, I don't do that. I don't think, I've only done that a few times actually, because when I had done DJ gigs, it was only usually for like an hour.
Okay, so you haven't done the whole like 6 a.m. Ibiza thing or something like that?
No, but I don't really DJ too much anymore.
Do you miss it? Though I know you haven't done a ton of it, but do you miss doing that?
Yeah, sometimes. But I really enjoy performing more. But it's definitely less pressure when I have to DJ. Like, you can just be chill.
You have this EP coming up. Are you going to do visuals for every track from it?
I don't think so.
Oh,
There's too many songs. I think it's like 7 songs.
That's you're like
are they gonna sound like the last song, like Hit and Run?
Huh?
Are they gonna sound like the new single?
Oh, not really.
I love the mystery.
I'm feeling right now.
It might be.
That was on reef. That's my new summer song. Okay? Like I'm about to, you know, and I'm gonna play that the entire week.
At the party.
You're making me you're a bad influence. You're a bad influence, girl.
Yeah, Demi's gonna walk in with it playing on her phone and be like, "Hey guys, listen to this!" Like putting in people's faces and stuff.
No, but she says some crazy things in that song. That's I know.
Well, we gotta let you go here, KO. But thank you so much for joining us on Inspirational with Jordan and Demi. Really appreciate it. The new single Hit and Run is out now. Do you have a release date for the EP or?
Not yet. Just because I like kind of figure everything out as I go. I'm still like, which song do I do first? So we'll see. But I'm gonna drop like a couple songs from it first. Maybe like 1 song a week, and then the EP. So yeah.
Okay. How much do you pay attention to streams and numbers and things like that?
Not too much, because I don't think, you know, that really matters for me yet, since I'm a new artist and I just do kind of what I feel like doing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Kay, thank you so much for joining us. we will look forward to what you have coming up next.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later. All right. Bye. That was KO. Her new single Hit and Run is out now. Love the style, love the sound of it. And I do love the I think there is something to the idea of coming from the DJ world or electronic music world and then making pop. Like you just have access in your brain to
like every, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it brings this like electronic flair, you know, and like yeah, man.
Yeah. I know it's not something you're gonna put in your music because you're all about the kit drums and you're all about
damn Jordan.
Real percussion, today. No drum machine for Demi.
Calling me out. Unreal.
All right, guys. We will see you later. As always, go to popdust.com for the latest in music and pop culture. Check out past episodes on YouTube and Facebook Watch. And follow us on Instagram. I'm Jordan Edwards Studio. Demi is at Demi_Ramos. And help us out with the TikTok. Follow us on TikTok.
If anyone's wondering,
TikTok, we are playing the game. Follow us. Until next time, we'll see you later.